Welcome back to the Freedom Queen podcast. You are watching The Art of Becoming Famous, and in this episode, I'm going to be talking about the real you. So, a lot of times when people are teaching fame, celebrity, being seen, visible, they're teaching you to put on this alter ego, this character. And while that is great and it's fun, and you're the Marilyn Monroe with Norma Jean, we're building personal development brands, and I would so much rather you become the alter ego, you become the most next level version of yourself, than have to put on some sort of performance. Because I have experienced the most freedom, joy, happiness, income growth, quantum leaps in my life, not when I am putting on a performance, but I am showing up as the real me, the real you. So the real you is the most magnetic version of yourself. It's the one that God made you to be. It's the highest frequency of you. It's the most living in alignment. Doesn't mean that life is perfect all of the time. Doesn't mean that everything is working out for you. Well, everything is always working out for you, but it doesn't mean that everything in your everyday life is perfect on the outside, although even if it doesn't feel perfect, it does. The real you is not a character that you put on. The real you is the truth, the freest version of you, the version of you that is the most in alignment with your ultimate destiny of what you're here to do on this planet. Now, the anti-you are all of the facades and things that you have put up, all the masks that you've put on in your life in order to maintain something. So it could be that you started to show some side of your personality because you wanted people to like you. It could be that you formed certain relationships because you wanted to maintain something, even though your gut told you no. It could be that you want to show up on social media, but every time you show up on social media, you feel off. That's all because you're showing the anti-you. These are parts of you that you think people need to see in order to be validated or liked. And sometimes the thing is that the anti-you is the old you, but you're still clinging on to ways that you used to show up and be perceived as in order to move the masses, even though that's not you and not who you are. The real you is like a breath of fresh air. The real you has a skip in the step. It feels most in alignment. And you know this simply by, have you ever watched some of your content and you're like, yep, I hit the nail on the head. And then you look at another piece of content and you're like, that didn't do it. It's nothing wrong. You don't have to be like, you hate it or you hate yourself. You can, by all means, archive it, not do it. I believe that you find the real you by testing out different versions of you. This is how you make more of who you really are. And you find that out and you figure it out. But most times people aren't either taking action to figure it out, or they're not practicing awareness and reflection to know what is the real them and what's not the real them. Now, what I want for you more than anything in your business is that you have a business where you don't have to try to put on. You don't have to step into something, but you are that person. Because that is a lot easier to maintain and grow and be even more self-expressed when it is the actual real version of you. The realest version of you. So I want you to go ahead and think about this in terms of being seen and known and famous, because what I don't want you to do is get famous for somebody that you're not. I want you to get famous for your actual heart and who you are. I want you to think about all of the anti-you. The parts of you that you just know, if you showed up this way, you're not magnetic. And again, the goal is not to never show up that way. I believe that we become more magnetic by showing up that way sometimes, so we can figure out what we want and what we don't want. But the goal is to understand, and we better understand by reflecting and looking at it So what I want you to do is I want you to actually take time to reflect and look at, what is the anti-you? Is it you try to be vulnerable when you don't want to be vulnerable? Is it that you try to be relatable when you don't want to be relatable? Is it that you over-explain and justify and compare when you don't want to? What is it? What is not the real you? And a really easy way to do this is you can go back and you can audit some of your content. And you can look at the parts of you that you would say, this is the realist version of you, and this is not the realist version of you. So if you were to look at old pieces of content and scroll down, and I do this often, I want you to find the parts of your content where you're like, I really nailed it there, and that is the realist version of me. And then the parts of you were like, that wasn't it. Because it's only through actually taking time to look at your life and audit things that you can grow. And I think that this is one of the reasons why Freedom Queen has always continued to evolve and grow, is because I like to evolve. And as I say, you get paid to evolve. Because if you're not evolving, you're dying. We are always evolving as human beings. We're always growing. You're either growing or you're dying. And so one of the easiest ways to uncover the real you versus not the real you is to take a look at your social media and find out what's not you. And then take note of it. And then on the flip side, what I want you to do is I want you to look at the realist versions of you. The parts of you where you are the most magnetic. And I want you to write down all the pieces. I want you to write down your energy state, your mindset, your feeling, what are you wearing, what's the music if there's music, how are you speaking, what's the writing. I want you to go through all the parts that are the realist version of you. And then I want you to take it a next step further. And I want to ask you, why do you go out of the real you? Because this is the most magnetic version of you. This is the version that everybody wants to pay, everybody wants to sign up with, everybody wants to join your offers, everyone wants to learn from you as their mentor. What is the things that get you out of being the realist version of you? When do you stop doing that? Is it certain relationships? Is it certain habits that you have in your life that are distracting you from being the real you? Is it not being organized? You just don't know what is the real you versus not? What's helpful is when you know the real you and who you are. I'm talking about the version of you behind the scenes that is you to a T, and this is who you want to show up in your business as. Understanding that and what that is and who that is, but also understanding what gets you out of that. What throws you off? Is it not working out? Is it eating poorly? Is it hanging out with certain people? Is it not showing up as yourself? Is it not putting in effort? Like, what are the things that get you out of the realist version of you? Are you afraid that if you are the real you, it's going to trigger people? Oftentimes I find that what it is, it's a attachment to an old identity. So because you're attached to your old identity, you don't want to become the real you or the more evolved version of you, because in the old identity, you got transformation and results from it. And the reason why the old identity sometimes feels like the anti-you now is because simply you've outgrown it. So whenever you go to make content or sell or mentor clients, when you go back into that old identity, it doesn't feel like you, because it's not who you are anymore. It's the anti-you, and sometimes the anti-you is old you. It doesn't make it wrong though. It just means that you've evolved past that. And typically, these are the pieces of content or media that start to feel off for you, or even coaching styles or sales styles. You can tell that you're going back into old versions of you that just didn't get to come to the new level of you. So I like to think about the real you as an ever-evolving version of you. That every day that you're waking up, it's getting better and better and better, because it's true. The truth of the world is that the days of the righteous grow brighter and brighter, that your life does get better and better and better and better and better and better and better as you grow and evolve. It's not the other way around. So the real you is designed to change, because we are human beings that are always evolving and changing. And if every day you are trying to create some sort of archetype that you step into, I don't really think that you're honoring your highest level of personal development. I don't think that you're really allowing yourself to be the freedom queen if you are trying to be someone versus just you are someone. You already are. Underneath of everything that you are putting on your shoulders, the weight, the performance, the perfectionism, the comparison, the judgment, the criticism, underneath of all of that, there's a real version of you that wants to come out and be self-expressed and be happy and free. And she doesn't worry about getting it wrong. She doesn't worry about making mistakes, and she doesn't worry about being perfect, but she is perfectly perfect because she's the realest version of her. And in a world of AI, which I think is fantastic, and in a world of AI, people now more than ever want real. They want the version of you that's not performing. They want presence. They want laughter. They want joy, freedom. And what's so great about when you're the real you is that now you're in an infinite state. The infinite woman. You're not linear, you're infinite. Because the real you is not competing with anyone. You're not comparing, you're not justifying, you are actually just being you. And this is the most magnetic version. And in my experience of building Freedom Queen to an 8-figure company, in my experience of this, when you live a life where when the cameras are off, when you're not recording, when you're not live streaming and nothing is on, and the real you is just as happy, free, and alive as the version of you on the internet, and you're the same, then you're going to keep growing and growing and growing. You're going to keep growing. You're going to keep growing because there's no disconnect. That is who you are. There's no gap. One of the reasons why I see so many women, they fall or put so much pressure on themselves to be perfect. They can get it right all the time, and they're always looking, and they're always comparing, and they're always like, but she said to do it this way, and do it this way. It's like, what? Have you forgotten who you are, the realest version of you? Or did you put on all these facades of other people? The masks of other people. Have you forgotten that you are a literal gift? Do you have a calling in your life that God chose you for this destiny? So every time that you're holding on to some type of identity that is not you, you're going to only grow in linear ways. But every time that you peel back one layer at a time and you uncover something and you say that's not the real you. It's somebody else's idea. It's some facade or some projection or some idea of you that you are trying to maintain. And you peel those back and you peel back layer after layer after layer. You will find at the center you. And when I have done this work in a really deep way, this is when I've grown the most. This is why we just had $1 million month. The Freedom Queen, the realist version of Bridget James. So what I invite you to do is I invite you to go through your media. I love to call it media, not content, because content to me feels cheap. Media feels like, I love that. Media. Go through your media and write down what is not you, what's the anti-you, and what is the real you. And create, I have something called the Freedom Queen Media Bible inside of my Telegram. And in there, I have everything that describes the real Freedom Queen, Bridget James. So the visuals, the value videos, how I make carousels, how I make world videos, client testimonials, Instagram lives, everything is in there. And so that when I go to focus on making media and I work with my Freedom Queen production team, the only thing that I am doing is looking at, is this the real? Is this in alignment with the brand? And by the way, this is just also outside of personal development and who you are and being the real you in life and ultimately fulfilling your destiny. This is also what you do to make a really good brand, is you have parameters set. You know who you are and who you are not. You know what is the real you in your brand and not the real you. So I invite you to go do this in your media, and I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Welcome to the real you, on and off camera.